Woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and so
migrate.
Why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice was not that. But words do migrate.
At all concerned about the fact that the International Criminal Court just today issued a subpoena for Bibi Netanyahu?
Well, that's ridiculous.
Why is there so much disagreement about a single argument? Known for speaking his mind without holding back, Bill Maher's TV appearance wasn't just another program. Rather, it was a clash that exposed America's flaws and the way it talks about identity, politics, and culture. Maher addressed Sunny Hostin and her co-hosts on some of the most divisive issues confronting Trump supporters today, such as wokeness and responsibility, using his sharp humor and direct manner. What made this specific moment significant? The way Maher's arguments challenged the crowd and had an effect that extended far beyond it was just as noteworthy as Hostin's impassioned comments. Why did a single country turn into a cultural hotspot? These debates are about more than just personalities clashing. They reflect a deeper divide that is shaping modern-day America. Why then do discussions like this continue for weeks? Let's look at the beginning. Even though the program is known for its controversial debates, this one was a powder keg about to explode. Bill Maher, known for his direct comments, walked into a room filled with strong feelings and opinions. The audience clapped loudly.
In the first segment, you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected. Yeah. So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and
migrate.
So why is that?
It was hard to ignore Maher's criticism, given Joy Bahar's unfiltered comments, Whoopi Goldberg's attempts at control, and Sunny Hostin's astute legal judgment and progressive stance. Maher contributed his own flair, complete with comedy and biting critique, while Hostin remained steadfast in support of the principles she holds dear. But this was more than just a panel discussion. It became an ideological battleground where concepts like woke and accountability were not just addressed but scrutinized. What caused this spark? In the ensuing conflagration after the trigger, there was just one explosive claim. Viewers of all political persuasions were enraged by Joy Bahar's incendiary comparison of MAGA caps to swastikas. She was swiftly attacked by those who said she trivialized Nazi atrocities and unfairly singled out millions of Americans. Bill Maher did not mince words, describing the resemblance as reckless, arguing that it alienates rather than convinces.
I mean, it's just astounding to me that they can't tell the good guys from the bad guys. I mean, just morally. I mean, let me tell you, if you're for Hamas, just live in Gaza for a day. And I'm not talking about while the war is on. I mean, before the war. Trust me, you would go running and screaming and begging to live in Tel Aviv, a place that has your values.
This was a broader discussion about how America discusses its divisions rather than just about Trump or his followers. The discussion went into overdrive when the term woke was introduced. Maher countered Bahar's emphasis on the need to hold Trump supporters accountable, claiming that such sweeping generalizations exacerbate the divide and prevent meaningful dialogue. Tension was in the air, and even the crowd didn't know how to respond. In her passionate defense of its origins, Sunny Hostin reminded everyone that woke initially stood for awareness of social injustice in Black communities. Bill Maher, however, didn't let her off the hook, arguing that language evolves and that woke has taken on an entirely different meaning, becoming a performative activist emblem that alienates the average American. He cited practical repercussions, stating that measures like defunding the police and cancel culture may be effective in progressive circles, but they alienate those who lean left. Hostin countered that being aware of injustice couldn't be a bad thing.
Don't tell me that the left hasn't changed. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay? That was a joke. But,
Too dark.
Well, maybe it is, but it's true. I mean, you know, if I had any doubt that I was right about the change that's happened in the left, watching people protest for a terrorist organization like Hamas. That straightened me up pretty quick.
Maher didn't let it go. He questioned the idea that millions of individuals could be reduced to a single negative stereotype. The room was heated, and the topic was about to take another abrupt turn as they addressed the issue of moral failure. Although Maher agreed in principle, he warned that the left's fixation on linguistic and intellectual purity was giving Trump and his followers easy ammunition. According to Maher, many Trump supporters are driven more by economic hardship, discontent with the political system, or a feeling that progressive elites ignore them rather than by hatred or bigotry. He warned that mocking them only deepens divides rather than changing perspectives. Sunny Hostin intensified her advocacy of Maher's stance, while Sarah Haynes offered a more measured perspective. When the conversation shifted to Israel, Maher's biting critique of the left's inability to connect with ordinary Americans made it clear that the debate wasn't just about it was about repairing a divided country. Haynes argued that rather than categorically condemning, the left should focus on understanding why they support him. During the discussion, tensions flared regarding the Hamas conflict. Bill Maher harshly criticized protests that appeared to support Hamas, which he classified as a terrorist organization. He emphasized the need to dismantle such groups and framed the conflict as one of survival.
Women have no, this is a show watched by a lot of women. Women have no rights in this place, and a lot of majority Muslim countries around the world. There is no equal rights as far as speech, dress, opportunities for education, reproductive rights, freedom from sexual violence, freedom from sexual harassment.
The LGBTQ community. Yes.
That too. But you throw around the term apartheid. There is a gender apartheid in a lot of the world, where women are second-class citizens, at best.
Sunny Hostin responded, expressing concerns about Gaza's humanitarian crisis and calling attention to the deaths of innocent people, especially women and children. Maher maintained his stance despite admitting the tragedy, arguing that Israel was forced to protect itself because of Hamas's animosity. The clash became a watershed moment in Maher's openness, garnering both acclaim and criticism. As the host's passionate plea made clear, by the end of the show, the debate was not only about Israel or Gaza, but also about how we deal with the gray areas in international disputes. Beyond political disagreements, Bill Maher attacked the essence of what he calls America's mean girls culture, claiming that the country has become overly fixated on punishing anyone who says something wrong, and that cancel culture is no longer about taking responsibility, but rather about suppressing dissent. He highlighted the left's obsession with ideological purity, which, in addition to alienating moderates, weakens their most compelling arguments.
The question.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
So how do we get out with a ceasefire?
All right. So Hamas needs to be destroyed because they are a terrorist organization who say openly that they want to commit genocide on the Jewish people, on the state of Israel. That's what from the river to the sea means. Okay? And they say it very openly. They said, we did this attack. They've attacked Israel 5 times. They've started 5 wars since they were given that land back. They could have chosen to turn that place into any place they wanted to, and they took a lot of money that they took from the international community and they spent it on bombs and guns and building tunnels. So if they need to be destroyed, how do we do that? It's a war. I don't know how to do that, and you don't know how to do that. I assume the originally Of course, everybody is, but that's what happens in a war. Here's a way to stop that. Stop attacking Israel.
Laws that don't seem to apply to the typical American, such as severing police funding or using overly severe rhetoric, are becoming political instruments that target the left. Maher's critique extended beyond politics and focused on how real development is being hampered by society's inability to have candid conversations. In order to resolve conflicts, he advocated for more speech rather than less, cautioning that without real communication, the cultural gap would only deepen. The message was painful, but it also struck a nerve. The studio experienced immediate and serious repercussions from Maher's appearance on The View, with reactions that were reflective of his critiques. The audience applauded the panel, even if they weren't in total agreement. Maher, usually adamant in her beliefs, seemed rattled. The fervor in the room made it clear that Maher's views had gone viral on social media, and admirers praised him for speaking out about what many believe others are too afraid to say. Maher furiously retorted, "How dare you?" Critics argued that by oversimplifying complex topics, He provided the perfect ammunition for the opposition. There was a clear divide.
Was a term that I thought we kind of came up with because people were calling them bums and vagrants and hobos.
Yeah, now that's
homeless.
no.
No.
It's unhoused.
Well, it's
now.
people
Unhoused,
experiencing
unhoused.
homelessness. But they're experiencing it on the street.
Yeah.
Okay, the liberal view of that was for compassion's sake. We're the liberals. We're compassionate. Let's get these people off the street. Yeah. That's not the view of the, whatever word we're going to come up with for this. Their view of the homeless is they're an endangered species that needs to be protected in their natural habitat, living their best life under a bridge.
Everyone was left wondering what this all meant for the left, regardless of whether they agreed with Maher's beliefs or not. His unreserved critique had either hit a raw nerve or revealed uncomfortable truths about progressive rhetoric. Maher's presence was a challenge rather than just a discussion. He advised the left to focus on the concerns of everyday Americans rather than alienating people with performative activism and ideological purity. He warned that the obsession with wokeness and stereotyping was driving people toward Trump rather than winning them over. But Maher wasn't merely laying blame. His criticism stemmed from a desire for more substantive discussion rather than polarizing hyperbole. Additionally, he condemned the mean girls mentality, which he believes dominates American media and politics. Bill Maher's heated conversation on The View was more than just a condemnation of woke ideology or a defense of it. Was a wake-up call for a divided nation, urging everyone, particularly the left, to reconsider how they approach political and cultural discourse. One thing is certain, regardless of whether the left heeds his counsel, without candid, constructive communication and an open mind, America's cultural gap will not be bridged. Maher stated unequivocally that the current culture of discarding, labeling, and canceling individuals is ineffective. Progressives must avoid alienating moderates with inflexible ideals and focus on solutions that resonate with the average American if they hope to gain broader support and political independence. So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.